Hi, welcome to Wilton Town Talks. I'm Liam, and I'm here with Deputy Fire Chief Plofkin. We're talking about the fire procedures and what it's like to be a firefighter. So, what's it like to be a firefighter?
Every day is different. That's, as I was explaining to you guys earlier, I had told your teacher, Maria, that there was a chance that I might have to miss your interview because if we did have an emergency in town, there's always the opportunity for us not to be able to hold certain appointments. As luck would have it, unfortunately for a resident at 8:30 this morning, they had a small fire in their basement. So obviously a quick response and our folks doing a good job, we're able to minimize the damage. They'll still be able to stay in their home, but it just goes to show that every day our job is so different. You just never know what's going to happen when you come to work.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think got you into being a firefighter?
Well, I can tell you it was a family thing. So my dad had joined when I was 11 years old as a volunteer in the town I live in Trumbull, and he started taking me to a firehouse. And I got to meet the other family members and the other people. And from there, I still went to college and grew up, but there I had an opportunity to live at the fire station. So from the time I was 16 on weekends till 18, I lived on the weekends, and then once I graduated college, I moved in there full time. And I was able to live there. The rent was free because we provided service to the community.
That's amazing. What kind of things do you do as Deputy Chief of the Wilton Fire Department?
Some of the things that I'm responsible for, so we have 24 full-time staff. We have 30 total in the organization. So part of my job overseeing the safety of the organization, general safety from the standpoint of the buildings, our fire apparatus, making sure that our people are compliant with what they need to have for training and education. Other things, I actually spearhead the town of Wilton's safety for all the buildings, safety and health committee. So there we look at all the buildings with the exception of the Board of Ed, but town buildings, we actually go out and inspect them to make sure that they're safe for the occupants, town employees, and for visitors and residents.
It's amazing. You said there was a fire. What kind of procedures and precautions do you go before you go to the house?
Well, obviously from the time we received the call, initially from our dispatch, which is in the Wilton Police Department, they will give us information right up front. First of all is always an address. Typically, unless it's somebody saying it's the house across the street or it's the house down the street, from that point on, we have some technology in our vehicles, which will give us mapping. It'll show us where the problem is, where it's located, the type of problem, because the problem can not just be a fire. It could be a dog or a person that's needs to be rescued in the ice or the water. It could be a car accident. It could be a hazardous material incident. It could be a fire. We pretty much cover all the hazards that a community can throw at us, and typically when no one else from the standpoint of the municipality will cover something, they call the fire department and we go out to solve their problems. So I kind of look at us as a jack of all trades.
Yeah, that's actually a great way to put it. What's a day in the life of being the deputy chief?
Well, the day in the life of being the deputy chief is I get in around 6:15, 6:30 in the morning. I meet with the folks that are currently going off shift to see how their day, they work a 24-hour shift. So they typically start their day at about 6:15 every morning, and they work straight through until 6:15 the next morning. So I'll talk with the officers and the members, see what's taking place, see if there's anything that I can help them with. And then at about 6:15 to 6:30, 6:45, the other members that are coming on shift come in, they exchange information. They'll tell me about things that they find with the apparatus that might be insufficient or issues that might need to be dealt with. And then basically by 7 o'clock, I start my day, delve into my emails as anybody would, speak to the chief, speak to the fire marshal's office, see what they have going on for the day, speak to our apparatus supervisor who takes care of our apparatus in our buildings. And then throughout the day, you can set a schedule, but like I told you, there's interruptions all day long. So between myself, the apparatus supervisor, the chief, and the marshals, we oversee the buildings, we oversee the equipment, and we oversee the people. So our day is very dynamic. It's always changing.
That's so interesting how it just depending on the day it changes. How can kids like myself get involved with the fire department?
So in Wilton, we're a totally career fire service. So you have to go through a testing. At 18 years old, you can start to take what's called the consortium test. That's a test that we give with a conglomerate of other communities so that it keeps the cost down. Then you have to get something called the candidate physical agility test. So you have to be physically fit and physically able. So that test is run by the state of Connecticut through the Connecticut Fire Academy. So you would have to pass that, and then you have to have an emergency medical technician certification. With that, between the firefighter 1, the firefighter 2, the emergency medical training, it's hundreds of hours, over 400 hours of training. So those are prerequisites, and then you have to be able to drive what we call a fire truck or a fire engine. So that we would do while you're either on the department or prior to getting on. Opportunities in Wilton that exist, a small part of Wilton is in the Georgetown district. So the Georgetown Fire Department, I do believe, takes people starting at 16 to 18 years old as junior members. And if not, I'm sure they start at the 18-year-old, where you can start to become more of an apprentice and start to learn the business. And they'll provide the training, they'll provide the education.
So it's like an internship type thing? Or?
Yeah, it is, but you're still an active part of the organization. You're still serving the community. So, but it's from a volunteer standpoint.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense than the Wilton PD does not go there, I guess.
The Wilton Fire Department? No,
Yeah.
we ours is
Sorry,
a totally career service. So everybody on our staff is compensated for their time at the fire department.
Okay. And what kind of events do you guys host in town?
Well, it's not that we host the events, but when the community has events, Ambler Farm Day, obviously Memorial Day we attend. There's a bunch of downtown events that we're always involved in. Our opportunities to get involved with fire prevention, trying to prevent fires is a big part of our business. Our fire marshal's office does a yeoman's job with that. As you know, the community's changing. So as you see apartment buildings go up and other things happening, it's their responsibility to make sure they stay safe. But pretty much anything that goes on in the town, if we can be involved, we're going to get involved with it, an event, so we can, let the public see us and learn about what we do and provide for the community.
And last thing, obviously fire safety is extremely important. How do you preach fire safety to the youth?
To the youth, well, smoking isn't as much of a problem anymore with lighters and matches, but today it's more along the lithium-ion batteries. I know the youth today, a lot of you have laptops, have phones. You love to charge them on your beds or on soft goods. We strongly encourage you to charge them on hard surfaces such as a table or this glass table or a wooden table. They need to have cooling and they need to have the ability to breathe, believe it or not, because as you heat them up, that heat can transfer. And overheating that device can actually cause a chemical reaction within the battery that can actually cause it to off-gas and eventually catch fire. That's why if you've flown any time in the recent, over the recent couple of years, you can no longer really bring laptops or other items, batteries, lithium-ion batteries, on board a plane because they want to make sure that those are not going to have an issue. So I think with the lithium-ion battery thing is really a big deal for us right now, educating the public and teaching them about how to store them, how to utilize them. So that's another thing that we're really trying to prevent.
Appreciate that. Well, that was Wilton Town Talks. I'm your host, Liam, and we are here with Deputy Chief Plofkin. See you next time.